Hello, we are live. All right. Excellent. Welcome to the live stream. We're doing the workshops a little bit differently now. I'm going to start live streaming these just to try something out a little bit different. And I figure that this is going to make things a little bit easier for some of you, and you can watch this whenever you want. So welcome. My name is Heather, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I make videos about yoga and wellness for high performers and mindful leaders. This is part of my mind body performance workshop series. I'm going to share my screen here. I've got this series I've created for 2026. It's a mind body performance workshop series. And each month we'll do a workshop around a particular topic on mind body performance. So, what I mean by that is how we are doing things to protect our minds, to make our minds better and our bodies better as well, in order to be able to perform at the level that we want to be able to perform at, whether it's from an athletic standpoint, whether it's from a leadership standpoint, or some other standpoint. Okay, so today's workshop is 3 nutrition shifts to reset your body, your brain, and your workout or your burnout. So I am very passionate about things like workplace burnout, looking at things like digital detox and how much time we're spending on technology, how much time we're spending on our phones, on our computers, on our screens, especially since a lot of people are working remotely now. So we've got a lot more Zoom meetings and team meetings and time on the screen. So that is something that's very much a passion of mine. And so I'm glad to be able to bring this here to you on YouTube, talking a little bit more about nutrition strategies to reset your body, brain, and burnout. And you might be wondering, like, Heather, how does nutrition relate to body, brain, and burnout? So we're going to go into that a little bit more. But I'm a firm believer in that everything starts with your nutrition. Everything starts with your hydration. Everything starts with how you're taking care of your body, whether you're doing a workout, whether you're doing yoga, you're going hiking, you're walking, whatever it may be, that there's certain things that need to be in place. There are foundational things that need to be in place in order for you to be able to function at the level that you want to be able to function at. So nutrition is a large piece to that. Okay. So we're going to talk about nutrition today. So I want to welcome you here today. The theme is that small steps lead to strong comebacks. So some of you might be in this situation where you've always been sort of like this type A overachiever, spreadsheets for the spreadsheets, you plan everything out. But over time, you might have noticed that you start to pay less and less attention to yourself because you're spending so much time on the people around you, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's at church, whether it's in your community, wherever it may be. You start to spend more time on the people that need you versus spending a little more time on yourself. Okay. And so what I want today is to set this theme or set this intention that this is about taking small steps, which is going to help you lead to that comeback, leading to getting back to yourself, reconnecting to your mind, reconnecting to your body so you can feel 100% for all the things that you need for your to-do list. So this is not a diet workshop. I'm not teaching you how to diet. That's not what we're doing here. I'm teaching you, we're really looking to focus on how to fuel your body, how to calm your nervous system, and reclaim your strength through your nutrition. So let's talk about what makes you a high performer. So, I make a lot of videos around yoga and fitness and wellness and this kind of thing. And, I have a LinkedIn newsletter where I talk a lot about mindful strategies for high performers in a hyper-connected world. And, really, I think if you think about it, like if you're doing stuff, if you're getting the things done, if you're that kind of person that you're like, I am that kind of person that gets the things done, right? You're a high performer. All right. So you're ambitious. You're certainly capable of doing the things that you want to do. You might not have time to do all the things that you want to do, but you're certainly capable of them. And you're always just in this mode of striving for more. You might be that kind of person that's like, yeah, I'm good, but I know I can be better, or I want to be better. I want to push myself. I want to see how far I can go with things. You might be the kind of person that you set high goals for yourself. You might not always achieve them, but you know that you're one step further than you were when you started. Okay. So, you hold yourself to a very high standard, both in work, in life, or both. All right. And thinking about how you might hold yourself to these high standards, but maybe sometimes they're too high. All right. And you might be that kind of person that has to sort of learn about how to take a step back, how to know when it's time to take a step back. Okay. Because when you keep going, I'm sorry, Cole here is taking a bath right behind me, if you can hear him. But you might be in that situation where you've been going, and eventually you get to this thing that we call burnout. And it's your energy, your focus, your confidence isn't where it used to be or where it needs to be. All right. So if you're feeling like that, just you've been doing all of these things and you keep going, and you're realizing that your energy level isn't there, you're not able to focus on things, or even just, like your confidence in your ability to get the things done might be not where it used to be. Okay. And this is what is really leads us to that burnout. And if you're in that situation right now, you're tired of feeling tired, you want your spark back, you know that you are so much more capable of the things that you're doing now, you want to get that back, you want to feel in control again, this workshop is definitely for you. And this is like just really, really, really small steps that we're going to talk about today that you can take today to get started. Okay. So you might maybe you've tried quick fixes that didn't stick. I was actually just talking to a friend of mine this morning while we were hiking, and I was saying about how, I actually made a YouTube video about this. I talked about how last April 2024, I set a goal for myself that I wanted to lose 50 pounds. It was one of those things that, like the middle age creep, right? Where it was just, I gained 5 pounds one year, 8 pounds another year, 12 pounds the next year, 3 pounds the next year. And over time, it added up to 50 pounds. And, I know that I'm really good at, if I set my mind at doing something, I'm really good at getting it done. And so I was always trying to do this, like, I'm going to get this weight off in like 4 months. And that's just, first of all, that's just ridiculous to think you're going to take 50 pounds off in 4 months. But last April, what I decided to do was just say, I'm going to give myself a year. I'm just going to give myself a year and not put so much pressure on myself, and do the things that I know what I'm supposed to do. I know 100% what I'm supposed to do to make this happen. So let me do it right. Let me do the things that I need to do. And it was not a quick fix. It was a lifestyle change. And in that year, I did lose 35 pounds. Didn't meet my goal. Totally fine. You know what? Life goes on. I keep moving. It's a lifestyle change. It wasn't like this drop dead date where I had to have it done by. Okay. So if you're that kind of person that you're kind of in this mindset right now of trying these quick fixes and they're not sticking, this is going to be for you as well. And you're ready for some simple steps that actually work. And you're literally going to go through here and you're going to be like, these are really simple things, Heather. And I'm going to say, yes, they are. You can do these things. These are things that we start to lose track of. We start to lose track of these things over the years as we're going through life. So here's a little bit about me. I've always been a very active person. I was not super athletic in high school. I don't have pictures of me here in high school, but I was like this tall, scrawny, like dorky person. I'm still dorky, but I'm just not scrawny anymore. And I'm 5'10", and in high school I weighed like all of 120 pounds. You could see my thigh bone. I was so skinny. And I broke my femur in a car accident on my 16th birthday. And as a result of that, just the effects of that long term, I had multiple 7 surgeries, I think, over the next 4 years. And as a result of that, that's really what got me into health and fitness. And my doctor had said, he's like, I need you to be lifting weights. I need you to gain some muscle. I need you to gain some fat. I was too young to join a gym. And so the gym teacher at my school, my mom went to the principal. I don't know how it all happened, but the gym teacher at the school let me use the weight room at the school after school, so I could go to the gym because I was too young to join a gym. And so that's how I started getting into lifting weights. And I really enjoyed how it made me feel. I enjoyed how lifting weights made me feel. So this is 1994. So we're talking 31 years here of lifting weights. And I will not say that I have been 100% consistent over the 31 years. I've never gone more than a month without working out, doing something. And if it was a month, it was because I was in school, working full time, taking care of a household, things like that, right? So these are just a couple examples of some of the things that I've done over the years. I'm a big hiker. I hiked the Grand Canyon. I did a rim to rim hike where I hiked from one rim, the north rim. This is a picture of going south to north, but I've done both directions. It's a 24-mile hike going down to the bottom of the canyon, coming back out. Different from hiking a mountain in that it's opposite. You go down first and then you hike up on tired legs. And I've done bodybuilding competitions. I've done a couple of them. I never did really well at them. Certainly never took home any trophies or anything here, but I enjoy the process. I enjoy the process of training for things. This picture here of me with the bright pink tank top on there is me in Havasupai Falls. That's Havasu Falls, which is on the Havasu tribe in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. There's a tribe, a Native American tribe that still lives in the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and they allow a certain number of people to come down and visit and hike and enjoy their beautiful land. And so that is like a week before I said to myself, I'm going to give myself a year. I'm going to give myself a year and I'm going to just get back to myself. I'm going to be the person that I know that I can be. Okay. I was still very active here. I hiked, I was working out, I was doing all the things, but like I said, just 5 pounds, 8 pounds, 13, it just like kind of added up over time. And then you got a picture of me here doing a headstand because I like to do headstands. This actually kind of triggered a 30-day inversion challenge that I led a few years back. And I like doing things. Okay. I like training for things. I like the process of things. And if you're like me, you're somebody who's ambitious, you're very goal oriented, you might be that same way. You might set yourself some athletic type of goals. Like I said, I was not super athletic in high school. It was this major injury that I had that really got me into health and fitness and understanding the importance of taking care of my body. This here, I'm only showing this picture here. I have some other pictures that are going to be a little bit more traumatic than this, but this was from January 2023. And I was hiking with some friends and I slipped on some loose rock and I broke my tibia and fibula completely in half. Those are the two bones that you have in your shin. And you can see this little teeny tiny tree out here. This is called Lone Tree. It's one tree out in the middle of this trail. And this right here is called Weaver's Needle. It's here in Arizona in the Superstition Mountains. And it's a beautiful view, but that's where I broke my leg. And then you can see this is where the helicopter's coming to get me. I had to wait 3 hours for the helicopter. Long story, not going to go into it here, but this is January 2023. And this set off a whole nother, set of like a setback. Like I had really gotten into good shape. I was training to hike for the Grand Canyon. I just hiked the Grand Canyon, but I was also the heaviest I've ever weighed in my life. I was the healthiest, most fittest I've ever been, but I was also the heaviest I had ever been. Okay. And so this is really what started that transition for me. I broke my leg, had to go through the physical therapy. I got real acclimated to some of the bullshit that your brain does to you when you are going through something. And I learned firsthand about patience and understanding your body, allowing your body to heal, giving your body the time it needs to heal, and going through the things that you need to go through, and you can't rush the process. Okay. So this was January 2023. Back over here, this is April 2024. All right. So in that year, I got back to being able to do this hike. That was a 10-mile hike, which for me normally isn't that big of a deal, but that day it was a long hike. It was a very long ordeal for me. So it was sort of this transformation that started happening over a process of 2 years. So on the left there, that's April 2024. That is also in Havasupai. And then the picture here is on the right. And this is, I say it's a before and a during picture. I never want to say it's an after because I think this is a lifestyle. It's an ongoing process. It is a thing that is happening forever. Like this is not okay, I made it, I'm done. I can go back to eating all of the things again. Okay. And so there's a 35-pound weight difference here. Like I said, I had a 50-pound weight loss goal. Didn't make it. That's okay. I just keep moving forward, right? It's a lifestyle change. I'm not getting down on myself like, oh, I didn't achieve my goal. I didn't do the thing. No, it's okay. And I think as high performing people, as ambitious people, type A people, like we get very set on, I have to have this thing done by this date. Okay. And this has really taught me a lot about being flexible, about allowing my body to heal and going through the journey that I needed to go through. And so I wanted to share that here with you today. So this is a picture from my recovery. I posted this. This was from February. And it was 2 years ago that I used my walker to walk to the corner of my block and back. And I've done another rim to rim hike since then. So this is really just a story of, that comeback. You can make that comeback. It is something that is not going to happen overnight. We're talking like, this is like 2 years here. This is 2 years of small, incremental, daily changes, daily habits, daily things that boil down to the basics. The boring basics still work. And we're going to go over some of those boring basics here today. So here's a little bit about my yoga background. So I like to bring yoga into all of the things that I talk about with regards to wellness and mindful strategies, mindful leadership, things like this. Okay. And so you can see in the upper left here, I'm sitting in my walker. It was one of those walkers that had like a seat in it that you could push around, put stuff on it, but you could sit down on it if you needed to. I had started making yoga videos for how to do yoga from a walker. I knew I wasn't going to be in a walker forever, but that was the start of me sort of like, I'm going to make this comeback. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this comeback. Okay. And then on the right there, you can see me doing Warrior 3. And I was hiking, and me and some friends just did some pictures. That was about a year later. And I remember like that picture was taken really quick. I had zero balance. I couldn't do the things. The upper right corner there, I started making some videos. This is where I really started getting my setup here. You can see my setup here behind me on making online yoga videos to share yoga with the world. Cole likes to join me in those videos. The bottom videos are more of like my yoga trapeze. I did a photo shoot in Miami, and both those the bright colors down there, the green and the pink, those are both done in Miami. I just love yoga and I want to share it with the world. So I did a photo shoot. So that's sort of my yoga journey. I've been doing yoga since 2010. I started yoga as a supplement to my fitness routine, and I started going to the gym and do the gym yoga. And it really brought me to this way of life, this philosophy that has really helped me make that comeback. Okay. That mindset shift to help me make that comeback. Okay. So when we talk about yoga and nutrition, you might be like, well, how does this go together? Right. So we have things on our bodies in yoga philosophy. We have these things on our bodies called koshas. And in the very first kosha it's your physical layer. It's called your Annamaya kosha. And this is going to be very much affected by the food that you eat, the water that you drink, things like this. This is your physical body. What you eat is going to have a further impact on the other koshas, which is going to include your breath, your emotions, your energy. So think about how you probably know at this point in life that certain foods that you eat don't make you feel good. Like you just feel like crap after you eat them, or you eat them and you feel amazing. Like you're just like, wow, that gives me such good energy. I feel good. I don't feel lethargic after I eat them. Need to take a drink. And you start paying more attention to those things that make you feel good. But then you also start to notice the things that don't make you feel so good. Things that maybe you're drinking, alcohol, sugary drinks, things like this. You might start paying attention to how those are making you feel. Okay. And food tells your body that it's safe, that it's good. We're not in a famine. Providing your body that good, nutritious food really helps your body to feel safe. It's that foundation. So like I said, with nutrition, with hydration, that is going to impact your physical layer, your Annamaya kosha. That's your very first kosha. It's that very foundation of your body. All right. You can't show up for other people if you're not taking care of yourself. And how do you take care of yourself? Nutrition, hydration, sleep, getting some movement, all those basics, the boring basics, they still work. They still work. I've got posts on Instagram all over about it. The boring basics still work. So there's also in yoga, there's things that we call the yamas and the niyamas. And these are principles of how we interact with ourselves and how we interact with the outside world. And this is where I like to really go into bringing yoga philosophy into how we live our lives, whether it's for ourselves and how we show up for other people, whether it's in a leadership position, an influential position, showing up for your family, showing up at work, showing up in your community, however it might be for you. Okay. So in the yamas and the niyamas, we talk about two different things here. We've got ahimsa, which is non-harming. So we don't want to harm things. We don't want to harm ourselves. All right. So this is going to be doing things like skipping meals because you're like, oh, I ate something bad. I ate something I shouldn't, which we don't do that. All right. We eat all things in moderation. Okay. And so when you are feeling like you did something that you shouldn't have done, it's more so that it was something that didn't align with your goals. Like, you know that you have this goal and you know what? You did something. You enjoyed a piece of cake. So freaking what? Right? That's ahimsa, is non-harming. It's just like, yeah, I ate the cake and I enjoyed it and it's good. Okay. We're not going to skip meals to make up for it. We're not going to get on ourselves. We're not going to have that negative self-talk. That's ahimsa, non-harming. Okay. And tapas is discipline. It's that fire inside of you. All right. This is going to be that devotion, the devotion to you, the devotion to taking care of yourself, the devotion to taking care of yourself so you can show up for the people who need you. That's tapas. Okay. So thinking about with yoga, nutrition, the things we're putting in our foods, we're not going to get upset with ourselves when shit doesn't go the way we want it to. And we're just going to stay focused and disciplined on the end goal. All right. And if we start veering off, we just reel it back in. Okay. And nutrition, like yoga, is something to practice, not to perfect. Okay. This is not something that's ever going to be perfect. And I think as high performing people, as ambitious people, sometimes we get stuck in this all or nothing thinking that, like, if I can't do this the right way, why would I do it at all? Okay. And I had somebody say to me once, and this stuck with me. This was many years ago, decades ago, that, like, if you're putting away your dishes out of the dishwasher and you drop a plate and it shatters all over the floor, are you going to grab all the other plates out of your cupboard, out of the dishwasher, and start slamming on? Well, I broke one, so I might as well break them all. Okay. And that's what we do sometimes with that all or nothing thinking. And that's why I want to really point out that nutrition is something that it's something that we practice. Just like yoga, it's something that we practice. It's not to perfect it. Okay. It's not going to be perfect. I mean, who doesn't want to have like ice cream and, maybe a glass of wine, like we want to be able to enjoy life. There's a lot more that we get out of food and nutrition than just macronutrients and micronutrients and vitamins and minerals and all that stuff. Certainly we get that stuff, but there's a social component to it as well. Okay. So we want to keep that kind of stuff in mind. So let's talk about, there's 3 different strategies that we're going to talk about today. And you're going to be like, these are pretty basic, Heather. And I'm going to be like, yes, they are. But like I said, the boring basics still work. These are your reminders to pay attention to these things. These are the things that sometimes we start to forget about as we start to, our bodies and minds start to wander off into la la land because we're taking care of all the other people around us. We forget to prioritize protein. Okay. And I got a little screenshot here. This is from, I do have a nutrition guide. I'll get the link for you at the end. It's nutrition.sorellawellness.co. There's a nutrition guide in there, just how to build a good plate. It's how to put together a plate for a meal. Okay. And for protein, we want to include, palm-sized portion of lean protein with every meal. So thinking about protein, it's going to help you with your muscles. It's going to help you with your hormones. It's going to help regulate your blood sugar. It sends a signal to your body. I'm supported. I have the things I need. I'm taken care of. Okay. It's giving that sort of that foundational signal to your body. Like, I'm okay. We can go do other things now because I'm okay. All right. So if you think of, if you've heard of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this is where we think of that there's a certain basic human needs need to be satisfied in order. And food, nutrition, hydration is some of the lowest level needs that we have as human beings. That these are things that need to be taken care of in our bodies in order for us to be able to go out and do other things. Okay, so this signals to your body I'm supported. So a couple easy ideas for breakfast. Try to get 20 to 30 grams per meal. So I have a video. So like some people say, how much protein should I eat in a day, right? And the rule of thumb that I always go by is 1 gram per pound of body weight or goal body weight if you're trying to lose weight. So for ease of math, if you are eating 150 grams of protein per day, if you eat 30 grams of protein per meal, that's 5 meals per day. You're like, well, that's a lot. That's a lot of meals. Not really if you think about it, because if you do breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then a snack between the 2 meals at 30 grams of protein per pop, there's your 150 grams of protein per day. I do have a video on my YouTube channel about how to plan out your meals so that you can get that protein. So if you shoot for 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal, that's a really good base start. Most of us don't get enough protein. Many of us think like, oh, I had an egg, that's protein. Well, that's an egg does not have a whole lot of protein in it. Combined with removing the yolks and combining 6 egg whites together, that's going to get you to the level of protein that I'm talking about here. It's not 1 egg. We're talking like 5, 6, 7 eggs. Okay. Removing the egg yolks, unless you need all that additional fat. So I do suggest some easy things for breakfast are going to be egg whites, specifically egg whites. You can use protein shakes. I think that those should be something that's used sort of as I don't want to say last resort, but it's sort of a convenience thing. So like if you're traveling, or you're on the go, you're like, I don't have any time to eat anything at all, you can use those protein shakes. I think that they're there as a supplement. They're called supplements for a reason. That it shouldn't be the go-to though. So you can do the egg whites, protein shakes. I've eaten ground turkey for breakfast before. I think it's like a cultural thing that we have here in the US, that we don't eat necessarily like chicken or turkey or beef or anything for breakfast. But think about it, like if you have sausage, I mean, that's turkey or chicken or pork or whatever it is. You don't have to have it in that form. So sometimes I have ground turkey. In fact, today I had ground turkey for breakfast. So start to shift your thinking around like what you think are traditional breakfast foods, pancakes, donuts, all those things. Start to shift that, like, oh, maybe I can have like a chicken breast. Okay. So really ideas. One of my favorite go-tos for breakfast though is egg whites with blueberries and maybe some cinnamon or some honey in there as well. So my suggestion to you is to start with protein and then build around it. Figure out what is the protein source that you're going to have for the meal and then build around it. Add the vegetables, add the fruits. If you're going to have any grains, add the grains. But start with that protein first. That's what we mean by prioritize protein, is start with figuring out what protein source you're going to have for the meal, then build the rest of the meal around it. Okay. Nutrition shift number 2, hydration. So speaking of hydration, I'm going to take a drink. So with hydration, now I think that I'm writing a book and there's going to be a chapter there on hydration. And you're gonna be like, why is there a book? How do you have a whole chapter on hydration? But I think it's really more just the reminder that like most of us are not drinking enough water. Okay. And that dehydration can very much lead to brain fog, but it can also lead to that feeling of hunger when you're not really hungry. All right. And so sometimes if we are having that feeling of hunger, ask yourself, have I had water today? How much water have I had today? All right. And, good goals to start with half your body weight in ounces. You can overdose on water. So pay attention to that, and make sure that if you are not eating a lot of salty foods, and that maybe supplement with electrolytes if you're sweating a lot. If you're not sweating a lot, and you're eating some, well-balanced meals, you probably don't need the electrolytes, but just pay attention to that. And the yoga link here is that hydration supports fascia and movement. Okay. So your fascia is this thin, like sheath that surrounds all of our bodies. It's like around all of our muscles beneath our skin. and it needs to move freely. Okay, that's where you get these adhesions. It looks like scar tissue might be built up. That's where the fascia is bound up. It's all just kind of right here like this, right? And so with yoga, we want that movement when we're doing a yoga asana or yoga practice. We're going to a yoga class. The goal is to try to move our body in the ways that our bodies need to be moved. All right. When you go to a yoga class, the yoga teacher will guide you through a practice. He or she will give you some suggested poses to do. You'll do them. You won't do them. You'll take any options that you have for that particular pose based on what feels good for your body in that moment, things like this. Hydration is really going to help support that because, like I said, that you've got the skin, you've got the fascia, and then you've got the muscle, and all of those need to glide freely. Okay. And the water helps for that to happen. It helps support your joints, it helps support your ligaments, your tendons. Think about your ligaments and tendons as like almost like rubber bands. And if they're not hydrated, they get like just kind of like they don't move as freely. Okay. And so it's going to really help with that movement. All right. So when we're thinking about nutrition shift, number one is protein, and that is making sure that we're getting enough protein in to support our bodies, support our muscles, support the things that need to happen from a hormonal perspective, things like that. And then the hydration piece that is really going to help with the movement side of that. All right. So your goal here is half your body weight in ounces. And then nutrition shift number 3, color your plate. This is another image from my nutrition guide, nutrition.sorellawellness.co. You might have seen this before wherever, sometimes people say like use color, look at, put a rainbow of colors on your plate, right? And so you can use color to reduce decision fatigue. So this is going to be like, you can look at your plate and go, okay, like I've got a lot of orange things on here today. So maybe I need to add some green, or maybe I need to add some red, things like that. Right. So that's how you can kind of pick out some of your fruits and your vegetables. So the phytonutrients, that's a natural energy that you get from your food. You're going to get that from your fruits, your vegetables. The image over there on the right is, like I said, that's taken from my nutrition guide. This is helping you put together a plate. All right, one meal, a plate. Okay, so you're looking at a source of protein. Half your plate should be fruits and vegetables, and then the other quarter of your plate could be your carbohydrates. Those are going to be things like oatmeal, grains, quinoa, rice, sweet potatoes, things like that. Okay, so the way I look at it is protein and plants. That's how I look at it, with grains in there. Like grains, not necessarily, grains kind of a plant, I guess, but I look at it as like protein and plants. Okay. So it's going to be your protein source and your plant sources. All right. And then you're going to have things like fats and oils. Now, you certainly want to have a good amount of healthy fats in your diet. You obviously don't want to overdo it, but you want to include healthy fats in your diet that help support hormonal health, your joints, your skin, all of those things. Okay. So what are healthy fats? Healthy fats are going to be things like avocados. And I got avocado. I just noticed the picture of avocados is over here, but that's also a fat. So avocados, nuts, oils. So things like healthy fat oils. So nut oils. On my kitchen counter, I should post a picture of this on social media. On my kitchen counter, I have all these little containers of different types of nut oils. Macadamia nut oil. I've got avocado oil. I've got pecan oil, hazelnut oil, walnut oil, almond oil. It's all different nuts, and then the oil that comes from that. It's very pure. It's a very a dense form of healthy fat for you. Okay, so you're obviously not going to like swig it or anything, but you might use a teaspoon on your vegetables. That's going to give you some good healthy fats. Okay, so use that color. Saucha is a yoga principle of cleanliness. Okay. And so, you can talk to different people on the internet. Everybody has their opinions about so-called clean eating. And what sometimes they mean by clean eating is like not eating processed foods. Well, the majority of stuff we eat is processed in some form. Okay. And so the idea here with saucha or cleanliness is to eat foods that fuel your body. Okay. Eat clean to feel clear. Eat those things that you know are going to make your body feel good. Pop-Tarts taste good. Are they going to give you the energy that you need? You might get a short-term burst of sugar energy, but you're not necessarily going to get that really good just mental clarity feeling. Okay, so the practice of saucha is cleanliness, and by cleanliness here is we're eating clean foods, the foods that we know are going to help give us the energy that we need to do the things that we need to do. Okay, and if you're like me, you like to buy produce and then it goes rotten in the bottom drawer in the refrigerator. I don't even like to use the drawers in the refrigerator because I put stuff in there and then I completely forget about them. Like, so let me know if you're like that too. It's terrible. But you can certainly buy frozen veggies, pre-cut veggies, roasted veggies. I love to, there's a Safeway by my house and they are really good about pre-cutting vegetables. And, sometimes I'm like, oh, this costs more. It's not that much more, but I'm like, oh, it's cost more. And like, I'm buying asparagus that's already cut up, but you know what? I'm more likely to eat the asparagus if I don't have to do the preparation of it. Okay. I'm more likely to eat strawberries if I don't have to cut the little stems off. It's silly, but I know that about myself. Okay. So rather than buying it and then letting it rot in the bottom drawer in the refrigerator, I buy it. It's already prepared. I'm actually going to eat it. All right. And frozen vegetables have been just a staple in my diet as well. It's a really great way to, get different types of vegetables at different times of year. I do try to eat things that are in season, but with the global economy now, we can pretty much get most fruits and vegetables any time of the year. You can go to the local farmers markets. Again, I'm not trying to add things to your plate here, but literally. But you can go to local farmers markets and get in season fruits and vegetables from your particular geographic area. That's always a wonderful way to add that color to your plate, and also maybe try some things that maybe you wouldn't normally try. I know I get stuck in a rut of like, I like broccoli, I like peppers. Let's try some other things, like let's try some eggplant or some okra, things like that. All right. And pay attention to those colors. I got that on there twice, I guess. Pay attention to those colors. Have colorful plates. Make sure that you're getting in green and red and that whole rainbow of color. So let's talk a little bit about why diets don't work for high performers. We've talked a little bit about this before, but if, when we're talking about like, maybe trying to lose weight or get back in shape or whatever it might be. I don't like to use the term diet. It's nutrition. We're fueling our bodies. We need to give our bodies the food and the fuel that we need to be able to perform at the highest level, whether it's physically, mentally, whatever it might be. And we get in this cycle of perfectionism. We get in this cycle of paralysis. We have this all or nothing way of thinking. We didn't get all of the things done that we wanted to do. And then we're trying to be so perfect that it does lead to burnout. I remember March 13th, 2020, and I'm sure you remember that day too. And I remember that was the day that we were sent home from work. I was working at an office at a university and we were in person at the time. And I remember walking out of that building going, thank God this is over. I just had this so regimented way of living. It was up at 5 a.m. in the gym by 6, workout, shower, eat, at my desk by 8, do all the meeting. Like it was very just structured. And a lot of us live like that. I'm still like that, but it's a little bit more on my own terms now too. Okay. So when we're in this like mode of perfectionism, the all-in mindset all the time, that certainly leads to burnout. All right. So you can certainly do that short term. I think we've all done it short term where it's like, I just gotta get this goal. I just gotta meet this thing. I gotta meet this objective. I gotta do this thing. So I'm gonna do this for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, a week, whatever it is. But knowing that you're not going to do it forever. Okay. And your body needs that consistency, not extremes. We're going to give ourselves a year. Give yourself a year. Don't give yourself three weeks. Okay. Your body needs that consistency. All right. And things are going to start to change. Things are going to start to change physically. Things are going to start to change mentally. All right. You're going to notice it. Your nervous system wants that nourishment. Your nervous system needs those nutrients, the micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals. Your nervous system wants that. All right. So this just does not work for us. This does not work for us. We're high performing people getting the things done. We need fuel to make that happen. We get our fuel from our food. So here are 3 things that I want you to try this month. All right, you can start this today. Well, I mean, probably not if you're watching this right now. Start the morning with 25 grams of protein. Your morning might be over depending on when you're watching this. Okay. But I want you to try these things this month. Start your morning with 25 grams of protein. All right. Try a protein shake, egg whites, Greek yogurt, plus berries. Have a slab of chicken. Like, just try it. Okay. It's okay. You can have chicken breast. You can have ground turkey for breakfast. It is okay. I promise. Drink a full glass of water before your first coffee. This is something that I just recently started doing because I noticed I was like reaching for the coffee right away. So what I what I do is when the coffee maker is warming up, I go and chug a big glass of water. All right. So that I do find really does help with just kind of getting things going in the morning, getting things moving, and waking myself up. It's a very powerful habit for that energy and that focus. It's going to help with that hydration level all day long. All right. And it's going to set you up. It's going to set you up right in the morning. And then add 2 new colors to your plate each day, each week. You could try it as well. Try new vegetables. Try new things that you haven't tried before. Go and just take a moment and go to the grocery store, go to the produce section, and just kind of look around and be like, I don't know what this thing is. And then type it into Google and see what kind of recipes you can find on the thing. I worked at a grocery store in high school, and I learned all of these weird fruits and vegetables that I never even heard of, right? And then there's always the ones that everybody always buys. Everybody always buys green beans and broccoli, and that's what I sort of default to as well. So just go to the grocery store, look at the produce section, maybe go to a different type of grocery store that you haven't ever been to. All right. There's different grocery stores based on, different parts of the world. Go to different grocery stores and see what kind of fruits and vegetables they have there. Try something new. Just try something new. All right. Protein with breakfast, full glass of water. Try something new. Not hard at all. Okay. This is your inspiration, your motivation to get back to those boring basics. All right. So think about what your next step is here. So we got a couple different options for you. I've got the nutrition guide. It's called Feel Like You Again. It's a yoga inspired nutrition guide, not woo-woo or anything. We just bring in some of those yoga principles. Tapas we talked about, saucha, things like that. Bring a couple of those principles in. We use them as a way to sort of guide us through our wellness journey. So you can download that. I got the link there, nutrition.sorellawellness.co. You can join a live yoga class. I do offer live yoga classes via Zoom. You can come join me. They're 30-minute slow flow vinyasa style classes. I do them at different times. I have been doing them in the mornings. My schedule changes, so I do move them around. And I try to hit different times of the day to get different times for different people. So you can join a live yoga class. You can go to sorellawellness.co. I've got the link for you there. I've also got a macro workshop. I've got a whole workshop that I put together. It's about an hour and a half or so, and it's got a handout for you and some documents to provide you some assistance on how do you calculate your macros. So when we were talking about protein, that is a macronutrient. We're not going into macros here today, but you've got proteins, carbs, and fats. How much do you need to eat? How do you break that up? Okay. That macro workshop is going to teach you how to do that. I also offer lifestyle strategy sessions. These are short one-time sessions that we can just sit down, go over your goals. Sorry, Cole's coughing. These are one-time strategy sessions that we can sit down, we can go over your goals and put together a plan for you. Whether it is you're like, I have home fitness equipment and I want you to help me put together a workout plan. Or I have no idea where to get started. I'm so lost. I don't have any idea where to get started. We'll put together a plan to help you get started. Okay. So it's whatever it is that you want to work on. It's a one-time strategy session. And you can book that at sorellawellness.co as well. So just a reminder, one small action is all it takes. That's all it takes. You only have to take one step every single day. And maybe at the end of the day, you sit down and think, like, write down in a notebook, write down in put the notepad app on your phone. What is the one thing I did today? When you wake up in the morning, say, this is the one thing I'm going to do today. just one thing. I swear it works. I swear it works. I'm living proof, living proof that it works. Couple other resources that I have for you here. I have the Strong Body, Strong Mind podcast. This audio will be available on the podcast. The podcast um, is the audio from most of my YouTube videos. And I say most because YouTube, I can upload as much stuff as I want, and podcasting, I can't. I'm limited by how much bandwidth I have. So, Strong Body, Strong Mind is the name of the podcast. It's available on all of the major podcast feeds. It's on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, all of those things. You can go to heathermonte.com/subscribe-to-podcast. I should have had that on here. And that's going to have all of the links for you for all the various platforms that you can listen to the podcast on. So if you do prefer, like you're driving or you're taking a walk or you're on the step mill at the gym, whatever, and you want to listen rather than watch on YouTube, go there. And then I also have a it's called the Digital Break Room. It is a newsletter that I have on LinkedIn. It's called Mindful Strategies for High Performing Humans in a Hyper-Connected World. It's really intended to be a newsletter more for business leaders that are passionate about workplace wellness and balance. So I do talk a lot about mindful leadership, how you need to look inward to lead outward. Okay, so thinking about some of these things about how we're leading ourselves first before we lead other people. So you can check that out. That is on LinkedIn if you're interested. If you're watching this replay, I will make sure all of these links are in the description box for you, so you can go grab them, sign up for the things, listen to all the things. And I hope that you have found this helpful. And if you did find this helpful, please share this video, share this workshop with somebody who you think might find it helpful. Somebody who is just like, I just need to figure out where to get started. That's what we're doing here. Just figure out where to get started. We're starting with 3 small things. Eat more protein, drink more water, and eat that colorful plate. Okay? So eat the protein, drink the water, eat the colorful plate. That's all we're working on this month. Okay? So you can also go to sorellawellness.co. Got the link here. sorellawellness.co will have the schedule for next month's workshop. I do post the date at the beginning of the month. Sometimes things change, people's schedules change, but I do post them at the beginning of the month. You can see there, I've got the list of topics there available as well for the upcoming Mind Body Performance Workshop series. So thank you for joining me today. My name is Heather, and I hope that you found this helpful. I'll see you soon.